The farming community of Sandvlei in Macassar near Somerset West is counting the cost of the recent flooding. The community is situated between the Eerste and Kuilsrivers, which burst its banks, leaving homes underwater and grazing land damaged. The community says sewage from the nearby Zandvlei wastewater works has washed onto the grazing lands. SABC News reporter Vanessa Poonah and video journalist Joshua Sharrock have more for us.
Affected municipalities across the Western Cape, which have been hard hit by the recent flooding, have been asked to complete assessments. This, of course, in order for the Department of Local Government here in the Western Cape to make a case to national government for assistance and also towards a declaration of a disaster. Now, at the moment, I find myself in a community that has been struck after the recent rainfall. It's Sandvlei in Macassar in the Western Cape. It's literally a small farming community, and it's situated between two rivers, the Eerste River as well as the Kuils River, and this area prone to flooding each year. But of course this year a number of concerns raised by the community, not just of numerous homes that have been flooded, but also a great concern for the animals and livestock. Now joining me is a community member, Nazim Anthony. Nazim, a very warm good day to you. You as the Sandvlei community had a very rough few days in terms of your concern for your animals and your livestock. Explain to us what happened when the rain started coming down.
See, when the rain started coming down, we get two floods, one from the Eerste River side and the one from the Kuils River side. Unfortunately, the Kuils River, the wastewater treatment plant feeds that river. And the second flood, when it came, that river comes over. So there's the one that actually floods our plains where the animals graze and in the houses. Lucky for us, Gift of the Givers came in. They feed us, the people. And one of the guys say, but what about the animals? So I said, this is the first time people ask us, what about the animals? And actually they're the only organization that came into our place, and we're forever grateful for it.
Explain to us, Nazim, how important your livestock is to not just yourself but your community. You make your living from these animals, your horses, the cows, etc. Explain to us how you make or live your existence here in Sandvlei.
Yes, it's just a small holding area. We all the people either goat, a sheep, whatever, but they live from it. They sell the milk. They themselves, next door to me is a slaughterhouse where they do the korbans, and if people want slaughtering done the old way, and they got facilities, that places are all flooded. And we must sell meat. I myself eat the poultry eggs, the chickens, but the ground is contaminated. And for us, people that always helps us, Glen guys, they do the animal stuff, deworming and stuff. And now after the flooding, the mop up, you see animals getting sick. The hooves are rotting and you get worms in the hooves, but they are here, and a lot of horses were submerged, even cows. And yeah, we got I think one or two horses that drowned because they were trapped and jumped on the track, and one got stuck in. Yeah, but we will see after the water subside. They will see maybe a cow or sheep that is lost or so.
Nazim, thank you for speaking to me, of course. Nazim Anthony there from the Sandvlei community, explaining to us the devastation really that affects this community due to contaminated water, contaminating the grazing grounds. And of course behind us you'll see that the gift of the givers have indeed come through for this community, as they do for communities in need. I've got joining me now Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, the founder of the Gift of the Givers. Dr. Suleiman, good afternoon to you, sir. A cry for help from this community, but of course you've been out in various communities across the Western Cape since this past weekend. Explain to us the kind of help and the difficulty in reaching those cut-off and rural communities.
We started on Monday, and then the flood started at night, on Sunday night. Monday morning, within 7 hours, our teams were on site. The first big challenge was Salori's Pass village. The roads were difficult to get in. Mudslide wiped out 45 informal settlements. Fortunately, nobody died. And of course, we needed escorts to take the trucks into the area. But where Salori's Pass village as well as Krabo were the first two areas we could access. Whilst doing that, the suburban areas, Khayelitsha, Guguletu, Luande, Nonzamo, coming all the way up to Macassar, were the areas we tackle next. The Overberg area, which includes the Loudis Pass and the Theawater Group municipality, also Cape Agulhas municipality. The challenge came in Botsford. We couldn't get there. We couldn't get to Hanadan, we couldn't get to Riffiesfontein and couldn't get to Caledon. Today, fortunately, for the first time, the road is open to some extent in Botsford. Our first distribution since the floods came is going to happen today. So that has been a challenge. The other challenging areas are the R60, where we we still can't reach Montague, Ladysmith and Ashton. And the other area that was stuck was Brede River, Valley. And now today in Sunshine Orchard, there's a village of 800 families between the Duans and Worcester. Our aid will get to them today. The type of aid, bottled water is required in many areas, is in Macassar. Of course, blankets, mattresses, hygiene packs, and of course hot meals. Whilst talking about hot meals, in the recent floods and recent disasters, probably in the last 1.5 years, this mechanism has changed. When you come to a disaster, normally people will ask you for a blanket or building material. They now ask for food. You're seeing the endemic hunger that's becoming more and more prevalent and is becoming more exposed during disaster, whether it's fire, whether it's flood, whether it's rain. And then you realize that those who are affected, whilst they're hungry, the ones that are not affected are equally hungry. And we have to feed both sides of the communities affected. And food is becoming a bigger and bigger demand because overall there's an underlying hunger problem in South Africa. Added to that, we used to give food for 3 days before. Then we extended it to 5 days. We've gone to 7 days and now we go even up to 10 days because those people just don't have any food. And right now, at the moment, we're feeding 10,000 people a day because of the floods. We need a conservative estimate, given the areas that we've reached and the areas that we haven't reached. There's 15,000 people affected right now.
Dr. Suleiman, thank you so much for giving us an update in terms of the humanitarian aid that you and your organisation, you're doing to those various communities. Of course, there, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, just an update in terms of the great need out there in various communities across the Western Cape following days of unprecedented rainfall and heavy winds. And of course, today, the organisation out here bringing much needed animal feed to this community, which have also lost animals and also concern then raised for the grazing due to the flood waters, which the community says is contaminated, and of course a number of animals, horses and so on having been evacuated already, and those remaining behind, of course, today some feed brought in for them. Just one example of the many communities across affected parts of the Western Cape that are now feeling in the aftermath of these flooding that have to do the assessments and do the necessary in order to protect lives and livelihoods.
Vanessa, Poonah, there for us.